bar, they said.
On a bar, they said.
Hey, another week in the life of bar owners.
Yeah. It's been an enjoyable week, hasn't it?
Golly.
You've been in great health. You
Been
feel
in fantastic
fantastic?
health. Definitely won't come across as sounding like Kermit the Frog all morning this morning. We might have gone a little too hard on the last episode.
What?
Of On a Bar, they said.
There's
with
no such thing
our
as
friends.
too hard.
That's true. That was the first time I threw up in a long time, though. Don't get me laughing, dude. That's when the lungs start hurting.
How'd you feel when you got home?
Oh, bro. So go watch the previous episode. We were with our friends Brad and Cody out at Golden Rule in Georgetown, Texas.
I appreciated the fact that I met somebody else who gets as red as I do.
Oh, yeah.
I felt great with Cody on the other end.
And he was smack dab in front of the light
You had
and the
damn
camera.
tomato heads on the end, and he and I were both just as
You
red
gingers,
as
man.
could be.
Yeah.
Listen.
So this was our first one off site.
Yeah.
Plan to do a lot more. Super exciting. But they were like, do we want cocktails while we talk? Like, can you talk without cocktails? We're dudes.
And we were on site at their bar.
That's right.
So how do you say no?
You
That would be
don't.
insulting.
You don't.
We don't want to be rude.
No, you don't want to be rude. And so I don't remember his name. God bless. He was an incredible manager.
Daniel or David?
I don't think either one of those are right.
I disagree. I think it was Daniel. We'll call him Daniel for this episode.
He's going to be Daniel. Daniel, their manager, he brought the first round and was like, great.
And lots of variety, and we kind
Great
of talked
variety.
through the different options.
Each time he brought the little tray for new drinks, all different.
Well, the first one he brought you was double covered in tahini, and that was a
And
problem.
had jalapenos and bourbon in it, and I couldn't stop choking.
That was a problem immediately.
Yeah. So no tahini. We have learned our lesson.
We're clean.
We're
Clean rim jobs
Clean
today.
tahini. And then it's just, we look down. I edit the video a little bit. We throw it online, and it's an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And we had 4 or 5 drinks a piece, and one of those was a 2-ounce pour of Old Commonwealth that Brad and Cody had gotten for us at Justin's Bourbon House in Kentucky. It's got ties to Pappy. Super, super cool bottle. Of course.
2 ounce plus.
2 ounce plus pour at 130 proof, Josh. Cask strength. So I think that's really where the wheels fell off for me.
I think that's the definition of fuck around and find out.
Yeah. It was absolutely.
It was a great idea in the moment. Mm-hmm. And when I took the first sniff of it, I was like, oh, damn.
We're in
This
trouble.
is hot.
This
is hot.
We are in trouble.
So, that ended well, though. You could go to the end of the video and see an hour and 39 minutes in.
You can.
We were great.
It was, now that night, I took a nap.
So we had to come home from Georgetown.
Correct.
So I drove us.
Yep. You had to go straight
was in a
to
great way.
an investor meeting.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Carrie was already at and was super pissed.
She
and
was
angry
not
texting
happy
that I was late to the investor meeting. Listen, we closed the deal. It all worked out.
We do this for the
You're
people.
welcome.
We
Right.
do this. Hello.
It's not for us.
You
We're
can't
not selfish.
stop progress.
No, absolutely not.
So we get home. I'm like, man, eyes are a little tired. Lay down on the couch. And what happens? My wife starts taking pictures of me passed out on the couch
did
and
get some
texting the
pictures of that.
chat.
I wish we could put one of those up
Yeah.
on the
Hey,
on the
this is why
screen
it's a
to keep-
recording. I'll throw it up there. I've got no shame in it.
Hell yeah.
And then I woke up. I was like, this is fine.
Yeah.
The way I feel is fine. I mean, I'm standing still and the room is spinning.
Somebody moved the room on you.
Yep, it happened. And I was like, oh, there's a little gurgle. There's a little gurgle on the inside.
Uh-oh.
Went to the bathroom, proceeded to spew guts
Yeah.
everywhere. It was fine. Everything got collected in the toilet bowl.
Did you feel good
No
afterwards?
mess. I felt amazing afterwards. Puke and rally, man.
It's a real thing.
Puke and rally is a thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that was invented when alcohol was invented? Because, I'm assuming it was wine. We need some clarification on this. Was the first alcohol invented wine? I would assume, because that's, what Jesus served the disciples.
Some caveman figured out how to make some freaking moonshine.
As soon as they had kids, I guarantee he invented moonshine.
As soon as they had fire, he figured out how to boil that shit.
Yep.
And to
We
do
can
the process.
ferment it.
Yep.
We can do all the things. And then he's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to throw up from whatever I just made that I actually drank and did. And he's like, I feel so much better now. Now I can drink more. And there is where the cycle continues.
Yeah.
So I've made it a point. By the way, I haven't drank since then.
Oh,
I've also had what I call the strep flu, and never really went to the doctor to diagnose, but
you're pretty sure that's what it was.
I'm pretty sure there was something fluish related when it got into the lungs. Yeah,
flu.
strep flu. It's a new strain. Anyway, so I've kind of been on the shelf for the last 4 or 5 days. That's why I sound like Kermit today. But I've made it a point. We'll have a couple of drinks.
Okay.
I think when you're in the presence and it's social drinking and they just keep flowing,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's better or worse that we do this pod from our homes and not the bars.
Yeah.
Because I think our bartenders are also trained that when we do pods, it's just, hey, see a glass half empty,
Keep 'em
empty,
coming.
keep them coming.
Yeah.
That's what Daniel, AKA Daniel, the artist known as Daniel right now, at least was thinking.
The manager, formerly known as Daniel.
By the way, not a bad drink was had. It was fantastic. Great conversation with the boys down there. Learned a lot. I think in this and what we've always wanted this to be is to find some common ground with not just bar and restaurant owners, but just business owners in general. And so it's always kind of comforting that, oh shit, there's other people that go through the same struggles that we do.
It's nice to know that you're not the only one that's off by yourself getting kicked in the nuts every day, that other people are also getting kicked in the nuts every day.
Yep. Equal opportunity nut kicking.
Yeah. It makes you feel better at least.
Yep. So when you have this great idea, people at home, and you want to start your own business, have your best friend
I'm smiling right
come
now.
over to your house and just start kicking you as hard as he can in the ball sack. And then you will know what it's like to be a business owner before starting the LLC and thinking about logos and concepts, and just do that. And then if you can take that, then you're ready to conceptualize your business.
If you can take like a couple of days of just straight nut kicking, like day after day, then you're ready to have your own business.
Yeah. And, you know, if there's, and there's plenty of them. Your wife is a woman business owner, and I don't think it hurts the same if you kick them. So they would attribute it to childbirth.
That is a great question.
But
I think it probably does hurt. Maybe not.
Do you think getting kicked in the hooch hurts as bad as get kicked in the dick? I don't think so. Because they make the argument that childbirth is the worst pain when you don't have a dinger and you get kicked in it, especially if it connects with
the low-hanging fruit,
all of them.
Yeah.
And you suck them up into your stomach and can't breathe for 20 minutes. And with childbirth, you have drugs. You know, there is no way where a kick in the crotch doesn't hurt. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, no, that's true. You could be super, super drunk and it's still going to hurt.
It's still going to hurt.
I mean, I've heard.
Yeah.
Never been in a fight when I was super drunk and had that happen, but allegedly.
There are no rules in fighting, so it's also the first thing that I teach my boys. Hey, there's no rules. If someone's bigger than you charging at you, kick them in the nuts. Yeah. Take them down.
You're like, do what your dad did in
kick
college.
Him in the knee.
Just constantly go for the nuts.
Just constantly.
Oh.
Hey, I've got some things to talk about today.
Okay. Hey, I love it.
You ready?
Yeah.
We alluded to in one of the previous pods, we talked about the bar types. The people who come and sit at the bar, they belly up, all the different types.
Yeah.
And we alluded to bartender types. You kind of brought this up.
Yeah.
And you and I, over the course of my 49 years, you're 46? 46 years?
46.
46 years, over half of which has been of drinking age. And whatever else happened before that, thank God there wasn't social media when we were younger.
Yeah.
But we've been to our share of bars.
30 plus years of drinking.
Dealt with our share of bartenders.
Yeah.
What are the best and worst bartender types that we've seen along this journey? And I think when we set up R&D for our concept for Commonwealth, we went to more bars that we thought were kind of like ours.
Yeah.
But you span over the course of a life, and there's college bars, there's dive bars, there's bougie bars, there's city bars, there's speakeasies, so many different types of bars.
Yeah.
But what are the types of bartenders, best and worst?
Well, the best for me is the vet, the one who's calm and collected. No, just, seems to effortlessly float around behind the bar and make drinks and clean up and keep tabs and more water and food's coming out. And they're not rattled at all. They look like they've been doing it for 100 years. And they're like, give me something hard to do. Yeah. This is easy. Those are the ones that impress me the most.
Do they have a look? Like if you walked into the bar, do they have a certain look? that you would say, oh, if there's 3 bartenders, I want that one?
I think it depends on the bar. Because
I
sometimes
think you're right.
people are posers. You have the poser bartender
Yeah.
who wants to look like they belong and wants to be the cool bartender, but they just don't have the chops. They don't have the skills. They're trying too hard. They're, they're trying to be kind of a mixologist in the middle of like a busy bar night. And you're like, hey, stop doing that shit. Just make a fucking drink and make it right, and make it right every time. Make it consistent. And the poser is one of my least favorite bartender types.
I hate the poser. And you can get to know who that is real fast.
Real quick.
I think the vet is usually probably someone, doesn't have to be old, but older. Like,
because they need some battle scars. They
do.
need some years on them.
And a lot of them are not at like the college bars.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Those guys are speed pouring everything. There's no measurement. And college bar bartenders, I think it's very bro or like Valley girl, sorority girl.
Yeah.
That's, they're making a living, putting themselves through school, I hope.
Sure.
Better than being on a pole.
For the dudes or the chicks?
Either.
Okay.
Money's probably not as good as we've noticed opening a bar.
I mean, I think all the money comes from dudes no matter what.
That part's true. But I think that college bartender, I think they almost know who they are. They're cocky about being people. They're not cocky about necessarily being a great bartender, because the drink menu, that's another way you can tell kind of the bartender types, is just a quick glance through the drink menu. And I wouldn't call the college bartender, the posers, but they have been doing it a while. They get it out fast.
Yeah.
Typically things are served in plastic cups,
And no
filled to the
two
brim.
drinks are going to taste exactly the same, because you're right. They're speed pouring, and based off how much they spill and how many they're making at the time, it's going to be a totally different taste.
Yeah.
But most of it's from a mix anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter.
And that vet, you're right. I think it does. A lot of it depends on the bar, because the vet has been a bartender at every type of bar.
Yeah.
They've been a bar back. They started
their way up.
Something they love about the hospitality industry that keeps them in it and wanting to be a bartender, which is different, because I also love the vet. They seem to know how much attention to give.
Yes.
Like we've talked about this, my affinity for Uber drivers, and I'd prefer you I don't want to talk to you. My barber, I will talk to a little bit. But those vet bartenders know when to shut up, know when to speak, know when to ask you for another, know when to cut you off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the vet sees a lot of regulars, and they know, hey, it's probably time, bro.
When they set the water in front of you and kind of just slide it in front of you and make eye contact, you're like, okay, hey, well done.
That's right.
Because nobody here knows that I didn't ask for that.
No, not at all.
They're just thinking, hey, he's being smart. He's making a smart play. And then don't be that guy who makes a big deal about it. Just drink the water. Drink the water. Act like you've been there before, okay?
Yep.
Give it a minute before you try to order your next one. You don't want to make a scene.
That comes in, God, that's a great thing, because there's a self-awareness that has to go along in that. I think that's what we try to learn as we mature and get older. There's a little bit of a self-awareness. My wife is the worst at this. She's like, yeah, I can have a margarita. Yeah, you can, babe. Sure. Go for it. Let's get you a margarita.
Yeah.
Hey,
quickly, I can have a second.
Hey, I can absolutely. I'm fine. You're driving. I'm not driving. But that's not the point. Of course, we're going to be safe when we drive. But it's when you get into 3 drinks. Now, I give a shot across the bow. With my wife, I'm like, hey, 2 drinks, you're in a good place.
Yep.
You have to learn to elongate the buzz and enjoy it for longer.
Yeah, it's a long play.
It's a long play.
She always forgets.
At our age, it's a long play. And a vet bartender knows that.
Yeah.
Because he also, or she, wants to keep you at the bar for a long time.
Yeah.
Drinks, food, bigger tips, little conversation, little people watching, little jabbing back and forth. But where you go wrong is the self-awareness. In the case of my wife, then you get to 3-drink Christy, and that's a different person. Now, she's a blast for about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. That's it.
Yep.
And then all hell breaks
And then
loose.
you see the glazed eyes. You see, hey, I'm fine. I can have a 4th. It's amazing how confident 3-drink Christy is.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, depending on what you're drinking, I think has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, her tone and her pitch go exponentially higher very quickly.
Yeah.
About 2.5 drinks in. And then it's a problem.
let's turn this, and we're going to keep with bar types.
Oh, yeah.
But what type is your significant other? What type of drinker? Like, when do you see that Carrie's turned a corner and been like, hey, maybe that drink should have been your last? Because she's been practicing.
I will tell you, she's
got a hell of tolerance.
She has got a hell of a tolerance, and she can hold her liquor, and she loves Prosecco, which is a higher alcohol content than most people realize.
But you wouldn't know it because her and her friend can take down 2 bottles by themselves, and you would feel like, oh my gosh, they could go meet the Pope right now and be just fine.
Yeah, they'd be great. How do I know when it's gone wrong? I think when she starts over cussing.
There it is.
There's the cough.
There it is.
When she starts over cussing, like, uh-oh. Okay. Because she gets on something and she's not wrong. And she will tell you over and over and over again, she is not wrong.
I'm not fucking wrong.
Yeah. And many, many bad words. And you're going to be there a while. It's going to take a while to talk back off the ledge.
I think I know when Carrie's probably gone over that limit when she starts picking fights with homeless guys.
Oh,
That's
I don't know
allegedly.
Don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard that.
It is interesting because I try my best not to ever get to that point that I was at last Wednesday. And in the moment, it'd be rude to turn down a drink or choke down a water. And I don't drink water.
Yeah.
Probably number one. But I am very aware of what I can have and when I start feeling a certain way. Mm-hmm. I am curious we'll have our wives on the pod. I'm curious to ask them about us and let them also answer the same question. Hey, when do you know Josh has probably rounded the corner to go home?
That's a great question.
Because some things you feel like in the moment you can self-identify, but can you really?
But I can't tell you the last time that I got to the point where I was like, when's the last time I threw up? Been
long time.
Very, very, very long time.
Dude,
number one, I hate to throw up.
I cry when I throw up.
I will fight.
I will fight a throw up.
I will fight a throw up as hard as I possibly can and just be miserable, but I just hate throwing up. I just hate it.
Yep.
And so from drinking, it's been, God.
Years, right?
I think the Bert Kreischer show in Fort Worth.
I forgot about that.
I think that was because we got there early, checked into the VRBO, and we're just kind of hanging out. Just had time to kill, but we hadn't seen everybody in a while, and so we're just sitting down there. Were you there with us?
I was.
Yeah.
I took my shirt off and got on camera.
That's right.
Pre-show.
You did. But we were at the house and had deep Eddie cranberry vodka, which is great. Mix it with a little Sprite Zero.
Fantastic.
We affectionately call our drink the Skinny Bitch.
Yep.
Because
low calorie.
Have them low calorie. Have them at the pool, at the boat, like all day, every day. They're fantastic. But I wasn't keeping track, and we were just having a good time hanging out at the house, getting ready to go. So I don't know, had 5 or 6. Then we went to. Did we go to dinner before? Yeah, we did. We went to dinner before.
Oh yeah.
Had a couple of drinks there at dinner, and then it started to set in.
That's when our wives got in a special way. Was at dinner. We were still on the long play for there. We were still long playing, and this goes back to Watch Us Drink, a thing we do with our bar, where pre-gamers, right?
Yeah.
It's a type.
Yeah.
Hell, we might have done it on this pod. I don't know. But we pre-game everything.
Yeah.
And because it's fun.
Because why not?
Why not? ¿Por qué no?
Yeah.
Life is way too short to not pregame.
Agreed.
It's a new T-shirt.
Yep.
And dinner is where the wives started getting off the rails because we went with Matt and Jen.
Yeah.
Right? And we were so damn excited about this show. And it didn't disappoint. Bert, I know you watch this podcast. Can't wait to have you on. Or Josh and I will come on Two Bears, whatever. Didn't disappoint.
It was fantastic.
I don't think that I knew that you got in a bad way. I must have been in a bad way.
I think
we were all in a bad way.
Yeah.
Because we did Uber. We Ubered everywhere too.
Yeah. And you're going to a Bert Kreischer show. Come on. You're not going to just be, super like light, and you're going to hammer down.
And who goes sober to a comedy show?
Nobody.
0 people.
Lame people.
You know why comedy is funny? Because there's drinking people in the audience.
It was when we had our second tall boy in the stands at the Bert Kreischer show that I immediately knew. I caught a whiff of popcorn from somebody sitting nearby, and I was like, uh-oh. And that was that moment of awareness for me that I was like, okay, I need to be done drinking because I'm not in a good place and this is only going to like get worse quickly. So I shut her down, handed I finished that tall boy, but then I was done.
You did.
Didn't have any more. And then the whole rest of the show, I was like, I don't want to not remember Bert in person. I don't want to not remember this. So I'm like trying to force myself, like get your shit together, Josh. And I do remember a lot of parts from his show. There are some that y'all brought up the next day. I was like, he said that?
We're going to have to watch the
told that
Netflix
story?
special. Yeah. We're going to have to watch the Netflix special.
But got home and same deal. Went to lay down in bed. Room was spinning. I'm like, oh no.
Here it comes.
Oh no. Shouldn't have laid down.
Shouldn't have laid down.
Should have stayed vertical for a little while longer. Try to sleep sitting up. But yeah, I visited the porcelain god that night. That was 6 years ago, maybe.
Golly, that was a long ass time ago.
I don't know. Bert, when did you go to the Dickey Center in Fort Worth? Let us know. Hit me up on my cell.
Because I think Commonwealth may have been a dream, but I don't
think we even had thought about
Nope,
it yet.
we haven't. We hadn't. You're right. Anyways, back to the bar types. The veteran bartender knows how to long play a guest.
Yes.
And I think you can learn them pretty quick on. And I think most bartender types you can learn pretty quick on, and the bar you're going to plays into it. I think just your initial interaction, like how they're greeting you.
Yeah.
And especially at a full bar, and you're fighting between people just to get their attention to make a drink. And that's a different kind of experience.
Yeah.
We never wanted to start at our place and don't. But you want people to belly up. I think there's one that a couple of them you can trust. Like there's some identifiers that typically you can trust. They have, on physical appearance alone, the makings of a good bartender.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's build the
prototype.
Build the prototype for this bartender.
I think that whether you're a barber or you're a bartender, tattoos mean something. And I think a lot of just hospitality, meaning like restaurant, bartender types, have tattoos. They've been through some stuff, or they're just that kind of expressive people.
Yeah, and a lot of times
don't know
they're
any
creative, and that side of their brain works better. And tattoos are pretty common in a good bartender.
I think what they wear, if you go into one and they're in a t-shirt and jeans, backwards ball cap, you know what kind of bar you're in, first of all.
They're gonna pour a shit ton of beer.
Yep.
They're gonna make you some pre-mixed margaritas.
Yep. It's all sour mixes, all of the, plenty of Long Island iced teas, that kind of thing.
Oh.
So I think that the
Is
t-shirt
there
and
a
backwards.
worse drink?
No, we don't serve them at Commonwealth.
Boulevardier, Man About Town, Long Island iced tea.
Next episode,
those are my
worst drinks.
Worst three drinks.
Somewhere other people like.
Ever. Manhattan's up on the list.
For me, it is.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Then I think, so backwards hat, t-shirt, it's typically college bar-ish, maybe a dive bar. But I think tattoos are an identifier that, okay, they've seen some shit. They've been through some stuff.
Yeah.
I think if a bartender is wearing apron, right, some sort of apron over a shirt, I think it's a sign that the bar itself thinks enough of it to make some sort of uniform.
Yeah, I agree with that. I love when a bartender has an apron on.
And we have them. Our bartenders have aprons. Every one of our servers also has aprons. And here's where it might go off. So I'm currently rocking my mustache.
Yeah.
I think you can tell a good bartender by the type of mustache if they have facial hair.
Okay.
Beards are great, but typically the guy that has the rolled up Raleigh fingers mustache thinks a lot of himself as a bartender.
Yeah.
And he would hate that you would call him a bartender. He'd said, no, I'm not a bartender. I'm a mixologist.
Yeah.
Right. And they may be great at making drinks, but they think you're there to see them and for the show when, bro, just make the drink I want.
Yeah.
It goes kind of to that. I think that hairstyle has a lot. We have a guy, AA Ron at our bar. He's got a giant mullet.
Big old boy, giant
Big
mullet,
dude,
glasses.
crazy mustache.
Yeah, crazy mustache.
Dwight Schrute glasses too.
Yeah.
But you're like, I want to drink from that guy.
Yeah.
He's been in the bar business a long time.
Now, Aaron is one of those, AA Ron, as we affectionately refer to him, is one of those that can make anything. He can move about like he's, gliding around. He can take bar tables. He can take the people at the bar. He can work the well. He is messy as hell.
And it's, man, that's
Messy
a thing.
as hell.
Messy as hell. I think that is the great bartender. Like, and funny thing is, because I've tended bar with Aaron, and it's what I would say here. I know where everything is. If this looks like a mess to you, my wife hates that about me.
But you know where everything is.
I know where everything is. You go behind his bar, and there's bottles and shit everywhere, but he knows where everything is, doesn't sacrifice quality, doesn't sacrifice his ability to get a drink out quick, but he's not the tidiest person. And I think that's where you get to the kind of unicorns, those that have the people skills, they're very neat in their setup, how they make a drink, aren't too flashy for the sake of being flashy. That goes against everything I believe too. Yeah. I believe in form over function. I think that because we have some great women bartenders too, and I think they have a certain look. Yeah. Right? That you're like, you can always tell a trainee, new to bartending, you can always tell a trainee. Yeah. They're having to look at a recipe book or they're shoulder to shoulder with another bartender that you can tell. Yeah. But there's a certain look that, and again, I guess now that I think about it, it's really dependent on the type of bar, on the type of bartenders that you get.
Because sometimes you walk in and you see a bartender who is very done up, like she is there to try to look pretty.
Of course.
And you're like, those drinks are going to suck.
Yep.
No offense. No offense if you're a pretty bartender, but you are presenting that you are pretty and the people should tip you because you're pretty, much like I would, because, I look great behind a bar.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not near the bartender that Aaron is.
No. And I think, and that maybe goes to the dude equivalent is that rolled up mustache kind of guy. Yeah, yeah. Hard part.
And they just take themselves too seriously.
They do. And I think that's what we try not to do as both bar owners and anytime that we help serve or anything else, dishwash, whatever, is that's also a life's too short kind of thing to take yourself too seriously. We talked about that with golf. Yeah. Like, I'm not good enough to get that mad at a bad shot. Right. Like, this life's way too short to take yourself way too seriously with that kind of thing. I think that there's a bartender type that is deer in the headlights, and this is the last time they'll ever try and get a job bartending.
Yeah, the bar's filling up. They're getting a couple of tickets behind.
Yep.
And it all goes to hell in a handbasket.
And it freezes, and the next moment you hear him screaming in the walk-in cooler, and you're like, okay, got to take a beat. You're not cut for this life, man.
No, that's when the other bartenders look around, start making signs. The bar manager comes over and starts jumping in, helping make drinks. And suddenly, the deer in the headlights bartender is gone.
Yep. Continuing and finalizing bartender type talk.
Okay.
So we've identified a few things that you think. I think that there's an over-talker bartender type. Yeah. And maybe that says so much about myself. Like, sometimes I don't want to be bothered, and I think it's an art form for people to know that now's not the time.
Dude, you don't like to talk to Ubers. You don't like to talk to bartenders. You barely talk to your barber.
Yeah. I think you're the only guy that I talk with, and we have to have a podcast to be able to talk.
You're such an introvert.
I think I need to go to Lakewood and get some more counseling and probably just do a check-in.
Put you in front of people, and you could talk for days. So what 100%. Is it about the one-on-one conversation that you don't enjoy?
Man, we're going to dig up some bones right here.
I'm just saying, like, it's interesting.
I think I enjoy it, but I think I enjoy it on my time. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, I have to be, I'm an extrovert. Everybody would say that.
Yeah, but like, you're an extrovert when the lights are on or when you need to
I'm a social
put on
extrovert.
A show. But you're not an extrovert in a quiet setting.
I've turned into a curmudgeon. That's what I am. I feel like I'm a curmudgeon.
You need a shirt that says, I am a curmudgeon.
Or don't talk to me.
I'm a cotton-headed nitty-muggies.
Dude, you can't make me start wheezing. Can't make me start wheezing.
Yeah. You okay?
We're recovering.
You gotta.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'll swallow it. Those are the kind of comments that keeps me from talking to people.
Not touching that one.
No. Okay. Here's a couple of things. Types of bartenders.
Hang on. You're changing the subject.
Did we finish?
We didn't dig deep enough into your
into my personal life.
See, I'll tell you what it is for me. And I don't like the I don't like the surface level
Chit chat.
bullshit.
Yeah.
The chitty chat, all that stuff. And so people say like, oh, I met Josh, who's kind of rude. And I'm like, well, I just wasn't in a mood to chit chat bullshit. Like if you want to be like, hey, I don't know. But see, then that's the other problem too. Don't try to dig deep and have a deep conversation with me if we don't know each other very well.
Here's what it is. I'm discovering this as we're talking about it out loud. So welcome to therapy.
Welcome.
Welcome to therapy.
Cheers to therapy.
Ultra therapy is my career in the golf business.
Yeah.
Okay. 24 years. My career as a new bar owner, right? I have become very cynical that sometimes people want to talk to me just to get something from me.
Yeah.
And I'm not about it.
Yeah.
And I think especially when I GM'd golf courses, it's amazing how many friends you have, right?
Yeah.
It's as if you won a lottery.
Yeah.
But it's amazing
A
how
lot
many
of those people
friends.
play golf and want to play at your golf course for free.
Hey, because I know you. Yeah, Jared said it's fine.
I know the owner guy.
Oh man, don't get us started again. We'll double up on that pod. But I think that's what it is. Even in this job, and there's true supporters. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And there are casual friends. Both of those things are fantastic.
Yeah.
My group, my handful of
Inner
dudes,
circle?
inner circle, is maybe 4 people, and you're probably 2 of those.
Wow. Is that a fun joke?
Yep, it was.
Okay.
It's targeted. But it's if I don't know you and you feel like you know me.
Yeah.
Now, I also don't have a great memory either, but I am an old curmudgeon. We are grumpy old men, dude. This is what we are.
We are the younger version of grumpy old men.
When Walter Matthau and who's the other dude?
The other dark hair, big old giant ears.
No, that's Matthau.
Oh.
Who's
The
other?
short,
Yes.
gray haired.
Yes.
God, what's his
I'm
name?
that guy.
Anyway.
Anyways, we are the middle-aged version of grumpy old men. I think that's what we're finding.
I love it.
I think just my natural thing is to think in my head while someone's talking to me for the first time, what are they about to ask me for?
Yeah.
And I just don't like that. I hate being that guy too.
Yeah.
So I don't ask for help more than I should. I don't do a lot of those things. So it probably keeps me at arm's length with a lot of people.
You're jaded
I am.
because you're like, what's the angle?
Yes.
What's the angle? Why are they being nice to me? Why are they whatever? And it genuinely could be just they're like a nice person and they care about people and they want to meet people and they're social. But you and I are both thinking,
Yeah.
what are they going to ask for? What's the angle? What do they need? I'm probably have turned into just a giant asshole in my old age, 46 years young as of last Monday. But when people call, and it's not somebody I normally like, I don't talk on the phone very much for social, like work all day, every day on the freaking stupid ass phone.
Yep.
But most of that even is emailing and texting. It's not actual talking on the phone. So when people call me, most of the time, like, this is Josh. They go, oh, hey, this is so-and-so. And I go, oh, hey, so-and-so, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? That's my response because I know you're calling to ask me something.
Yep. And I'd rather you just get to the point.
Yeah, I don't want to do this bullshit. How are you? How are the kids? Oh, I saw on Facebook, whatever. It's like, no, just get to it. Like, just don't. What did somebody told me the other day? They were like, yeah, I was, one of my clients from Nevada, we were talking the other day. He goes, yeah, I'm just so tired of going down to Central Texas and getting grin fucked all the time. I was like,
There it is.
I was like, what did you just say? He said, I'm tired of going to Central Texas and getting grin fucked because everybody will look you right in the eye and they'll shake your hand and they'll grin at you and then they're going to fuck you to death.
Yep. Not in the good way. Not in the good way either.
He was like, they will screw you out of everything that you own and they will smile the whole time.
It is what's charming about Texas businessmen and businesswomen.
Yeah.
It is the charming part about it. Is that what it is? I feel like I've become a cynic.
Yeah.
And when I'm meeting someone for the first time, it's not because it's just a natural interaction. And maybe because I feel that way because we're present at the bar quite a bit. And a small town, people know that we own it. And
that's the hard part is like, we can't not that we're anybody important at all.
because we're not. Nope.
But it's just we are out on social media a lot. We're promoting Commonwealth. We're doing some of the business stuff, and so people see us a lot, and they know who we're connected with. And so it is. You do feel like everybody is looking at you with those eyes, like, oh, I get a free dinner, or get a whatever, or get a promo, or get a whatever, and you're like, okay.
I am going to work on that. I am going to work on. Still get nothing free. Your true friends will support you and not ask for discounts. But I need to work on how I come across, because I think I've also turned into an asshole.
You know what's going to happen is you're going to be softer and kinder, and then people are going to grin fuck you to death.
Yep. You heard it here first, people. I have some.
We might have to edit out this whole section.
Everyone.
Yeah.
I think that there's a part in here where I can put the words in to bleep out. I think I can. Yep. So.
All right. Okay. We're done with therapy.
We're done with personal therapy. Well, I'm not going to ask the philosophical questions then. Okay. We're going to save that for the next pod.
Okay.
I think that a large part of why we got into this in owning a bar, owning a restaurant, was we saw something missing. Not just from the community, from like a stance of, hey, we need a big restaurant, a big menu, we need pickleball and live music. Not from that side. But I think one of the things that I wanted to chat with you about, what did we think was wrong with the restaurant business? And I'm going to ask, I ask that because I was listening to a podcast. We chatted about it at some point and talking about solving problems, right?
Okay.
And we're paid to solve problems. And we had to have thought that there was something that we could do better within the business, the hospitality industry in general. But maybe it's not what was wrong, but what did we get into this thinking that we could improve? What did you set out when we said, hey, we really are doing this thing? What can we improve about the restaurant, the bar business?
Yeah, so I think big picture, our goal I said a couple of episodes ago, I am a serial entrepreneur. I have a problem.
You do.
But it's when you see a void in the market, or when you see something that's not being done or not being done well, to your point, it's like, okay, well, there's an opportunity. And that word opportunity has plagued me forever, because it's hard for me to turn down an opportunity, because I'm like, well, yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that. There was the guy on TikTok. He's like, I can make that. He makes dinner for his wife every night. And it's pretty cool. But so see a void in the market. And then you see, okay, well, what's my entry cost? What's my overhead? What's my startup cost? What do I have to commit to that in order to attempt to fill that void? And with this, originally, we weren't thinking it was going to be a big deal.
No.
We were like, hey, listen, I want to be able to go drop my kid off at cheer and have an hour to burn and just go sit somewhere and get a great craft cocktail or two, connect with my wife, catch up about the day, go pick up the kid, and go home. It's not a big grand vision. It's not some crazy thing. It's just like, I just want a decent craft cocktail. And sorry, Temple Belton, we didn't have a place. Did not have a single place. And Bell County has a population of about 430,000 people. And in 430,000 people, how many of those people also want a really good craft cocktail? So that was the original vision, was we want to fill, this is the void in the market. There's not a really good craft cocktail. Well, what's your startup cost? Okay, well, we've got commercial space in a couple of different spots. So we're like, it won't be a huge startup cost because we've already got some space.
Right.
Well, we've got the recipes because we've been making our own craft cocktails at home for years now.
And you're all welcome.
Yeah. And ingredients and that type of stuff are not that crazy. Labor, like we were thinking, like we'll work it most of the time. Well, it'll be us. And so we were like, hey, this works. Well, then the idea police get involved, and all of a sudden now it's what we have today. But the original thought for me was craft cocktail, opportunity for connection and conversation with my spouse in a short span, and then being able to grab and go and do that. And so that was the original vision, that was the original thought, and it just got a little bit out of hand.
It did. I think you hit on it in a lot of ways. And that's what's interesting is I came at it from both a similar and a different angle. I've spent so long in the hospitality business, not starting my own thing, that I thought it could be better. I thought the business from the inside out, when you're talking about focusing on the people that you employ, the people that you're going to work shoulder to shoulder in the foxholes with, the way you go about doing that, because in large part, the hospitality business is a rough one for those that work in it.
Yeah.
It's incredibly tough. And there are some lifers. There are people who love to serve, that love to just take care of people with food, with drinks, love to cook for them, love to serve them the food, the drinks, that are lifers and won't leave the business.
Yeah.
And I thought that I was just dumb enough that we could influence change on that side of it.
Yeah.
The things that nobody sees behind the scenes, the way we want to treat our people, that I didn't, while I had influence in previous jobs and worked for great companies, it was still not ours to own.
Yeah.
Right. Where the buck stops here. And so what we allow, we condone, you know? And so for me, I wanted to change that. Seeing also a void in the market and pairing those two things, we knew that we wanted to start a bar. And that idea did get out of hand very quickly, like Anchorman, you know, and fighting all the other news stations.
Escalated quickly.
It did. I think Brick killed a guy. But that was the part for me that I still to this day get so much fulfillment out of, is how can we improve this for the people that work with us?
Yeah.
How can we, and it's not always, hey, give them a raise. You know, in the corporate world, the running joke is the people at the very top in the ivory tower are sitting on stacks of cash, and their reward for their people is a pizza party. I've done it, right? As the middle management, it's like, hey guys, we hit our quarterly goals. Here's 2 pizzas from Little Caesars, and shout out Little Caesars.
We spent $18 on your party. Meanwhile, thanks for the $18K that we put in the bank.
Meanwhile, the dividends paying off to all of the owners of the place. And so that's when I knew we were going to be successful. And in whatever measure that was, we knew that we were going to succeed and will succeed, because the goal is not to make a financial windfall.
Yeah.
We believe that the goal is taking care of our people from the inside out, so they can take care of the people that come and visit our bar, our restaurant, play pickleball, listen to live music. That was the piece for me that was really concerning, that nobody seemed to focus on. And that doesn't mean there aren't any great restaurants where people aren't doing that, but sometimes it's just not evident.
Yeah. Big picture in hospitality, I would say there's probably 20% of places that take care of their people.
Yep.
And there's probably the other 80% of places that are like, hey, we're high volume. We're just get them in, get them out, turn it over. The only way we make money is if you fill seats, you turn tables, the upsell, and it's all a money play, and it's all a bottom line play. And their people are interchangeable. Their menu items are interchangeable. The drinks are interchangeable. Like, it doesn't matter as long as we're doing volume.
Yeah.
And I think the people that really, truly care are that 20%. And hopefully that's where we are. That's our goal. That's what we want to be. There's a certain feeling and a certain feel good that you get when you get a positive comment on socials or whatever. You know, somebody puts a 5-star review and they say how great their experience was. There's a whole different feeling that you get when you have one of your teammates says, I love working here.
Yeah.
Like, I love how y'all treat me. I love how, you know, I'm valued, and I love how I'm appreciated and rewarded. And I just love working here. And that's not an us thing. That's not saying, hey, I love you, or you're a great boss, or whatever. That's not tuning our own. That is, we have set and create a culture that matters, that really speaks to people at their core value of, I feel loved and appreciated and valued. And now it's so easy for me to love, value, and appreciate all the guests that we have come in the door. And now you've created an experience that's totally different than any place else around.
Yeah. And you and I share, one of the most gratifying moments for us is seeing our people bring their families or their people off the clock to Commonwealth and enjoy. And because there's a sense of pride, there's also a sense of, I trust this place because I know it from the inside out and what really happens here.
How many places did you work at in hospitality that you would not go to eat or take your family to? I have a list.
Bro, that's the next pod.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the next pod.
When I worked at Olive Garden and Temple off the Loop, I was not eating there unless it was a comped employee meal before my shift started. And even then it was soup.
Yeah.
And that was it.
By the way,
I saw what went on
we
in
still
that
love
kitchen.
Olive Garden.
Sure. Yeah. It's different. It's moved location, different management, different people now.
But you said the C word, the magic C word that was so popular in business culture. There it is again. Because culture is the stone cold killer in a good way of making a difference. Making the difference we want to make, we knew had to start with our culture.
Yeah.
And for the good of the people, it's a cheesy little moniker. It's not for the good of the guests that walk in first. Yeah. It's for the good of our people.
Yeah.
Because then they understand, they have that same sense of pride that we want them to have. And I think that's your serial entrepreneurship that is a problem for you.
Yeah.
That is a problem for me now because it feels like you can control it more.
Yeah.
And that's a big piece, is that we can control that culture. And your people will tell you, right, wrong, or indifferent, your people will tell you, their behavior tells you where that culture kind of stands and what priority kind of you're placing that as a grander scheme. Because if we wanted to just make stacks and racks, we would not have opened a restaurant.
No.
We are a special kind of stupid to think we make a difference in this world by opening a bar and restaurant.
Yeah. But you make a difference to the people. There's a story of the kid walking along the beach, and there's all the starfish that are washed up. And he's walking, he picks one up and he throws it into the ocean, and he walks another couple of steps and picks up another one, throws it in the ocean. And an adult walks up and they're like, man, you're so silly. You're so foolish. And the kid's like, why? And he's like, you think you're making a difference right now? Look at all these hundreds of starfish that are washed up on the beach. And the kid picks up a next starfish and he says, hey, it matters to this one. And he throws it in the ocean. And that's how, if you can impact the people that work for you in that way, I can't save everybody. I can't fix everybody. I can't make everybody feel a certain way, but it matters to that one.
Yeah. And I think that comes with, because you hear that and you're like, oh, these two are pushovers. Of course I'm going to work for them. I can walk all over them. Mm-hmm. No. A lot of that comes from discipline and guidance, which I think we're learning every day, how to treat our own people the right way. Mm-hmm. And the right way isn't always the prettiest either, right? Like that's that kind of that walk in the line where, hey man, we improve together, and the way we improve is to be a little bit critical, to be accountable, to make sure our expectations are communicated the right way, to make sure that communication is understood the right way, to make sure that understanding now that we have goals that we can set off to reach together, and that I trust you enough to call me on my shit if there's something that you see. And I think inviting people into that space as a team, and that's where it becomes very difficult in this industry, is because it's a pretty transient one. Yeah. Where there's not a lot of longevity at any bar and restaurant. Your chef team, sometimes your cooks, your back of the house are probably a little bit more than front of the house, but front of the house, it's a job to get through, not a job to get to. Yeah. And you're making money while you're in school, or it's a side job, or you've got 3 jobs trying to support your family, whatever that may be. That's both the blessing and the curse of this great challenge, I think, ahead of us. Yeah. And for every small business owner, it's that same way. Yeah. Is just when you think that you might have figured it out, there's a whole new set of challenges and problems, which for, I think, I won't call us adrenaline junkies, but entrepreneur junkies is the fun part. Yeah. Like the kick in the nuts that we talked about at the very beginning of this, I'm never going to say it's fun getting kicked in the nuts.
No, it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was fun all the time, everybody would do it. But you I was going to say you pick your hard, but then you were going to make a joke about it. So
I wasn't going to make a joke about you picking hard.
Like no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter what your vocation is, no matter what your family life is, like there are hard parts of every single day. So pick your heart. What do you want it to be hard in your job? Do you want to do something worthwhile, I guess, is what I'm really trying to say, is focus on things that really matter to you. So then when you make progress, you're like, okay, I get just a little tiny bit of fulfillment. It makes me feel a little bit better for getting kicked in the nuts 5 times.
Yeah, that's what it is. it's either the way we talk about it in our family is it's either easy or it's worth it.
Yeah.
And usually the worth it stuff is not easy.
Yeah.
Like there has to be struggle. There has to be sacrifice. There has to be all those things to get to the worth it part.
Yeah.
And as soon as you feel like it's worth it, it's like, oh, there's the next kick in the nuts, right? To prove to myself, to my team, to our people, like, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
To go through all of that.
The other side of that is when you take really good care of people, sometimes that leads to entitlement.
Yeah.
And people can take advantage of that, and people can kind of run with that the wrong way. And so there's not just this never-ending list of grace and, compassion and understanding. Like there does come a point where it's like, hey, here's the line, and you've crossed it, or here's where we end. Our relationship ends, and we've reached that quite a bit with quite a few people that we love and care about and want to continue to take care of, but you just can't do it sometimes.
You can't. And that's the cool thing. And please check out the episode, like and subscribe. But make sure you check out the episode with Brad and Cody of Golden Rule, MCO. They've been doing this type of thing a little bit longer, but it's always great to come in contact with who turns into friends like that.
Yeah.
When you share that same vision of why you created your business in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. And what we hope continues this, and maybe this reaches out there. Maybe it inspires you. Maybe it talks some people out of starting something that they really weren't ready for.
Yeah. But if
I
you
think
see
there's
a
a
void in
place.
the market, call us.
Yes, we're there for you to either kick you in the nuts or volunteer to get our nuts kicked in again.
Fill your void
with hard things.
Okay.
You said it, not me. Pick your hard.
I started it.
Pick your void. We'll fill it hard.
I think that's
that
a great tagline. That's And here's the show.
That's
the lead in.
Let's finish it like we started, bro.
Hey, as always, for the good of the people.
For the good of the people.